What's good, y'all? It's your boy HB. Final round. We have Pulev versus Joshua. A little bit of film study before the up-and-coming fight with Usyk versus Joshua. And I gotta tell you guys, I'm gonna warn you, I'm not very impressed with this fight. I saw it a long time ago, but I glossed over the film just recently, and I'm not impressed at all by either fighter in this matchup. None of them really did anything very impressive. It was actually very kind of hard to analyze the fight because they weren't giving us much to work with. But so I'm not going to fixate too much on analyzing this. I'm going to talk a lot about the upcoming fight while I'm watching, but there's things that I can point out to kind of give you guys a preview of what we might see in the upcoming matchup. I'm starting to lean towards Usyk in this fight. I really am, because as of recent, and I think this is the version of Anthony Joshua we're going to get, somebody who's a little bit more light on their toes, slimmed down, and just very patient, waiting for his opportunity to counter. I don't like it. I don't like it against Usyk. I think it was an effective game plan against Andy Ruiz, right, in the second fight, because he needed to be very calculated and wait to just pick his shots, because he learned, as he learned in the first fight, Ruiz, if I sit here and I engage with him, then there's a good chance I'm going to get countered. And he underestimated Ruiz's punching power, speed, and combinations. He really did. And he did have some success early on in that first Ruiz fight, but he took a risk. He tried to finish the fight, and like I said, maybe he didn't do his homework, or maybe he got overconfident. He let his hands go, and he got caught, and he never recovered. And I understand why he slimmed down for that second fight with Ruiz, and why he took a more calculated approach and patient approach. But I'm coughing up a goddamn lung here, you guys. Don't smoke these e-cigarettes. But I can understand it for that fight, but I don't necessarily understand it for this up-and-coming fight with Usyk. I think this pace that he takes in the last few fights will favor Usyk. It's more of a calculated, slow, methodical pace, and I think Usyk, when I've been studying him more and more, and he's very impressive. He's a 12-round fighter, and he knows how to constantly make adjustments. He's calculated. And once he kind of figures you out and downloads your program, he's going to expose you for whatever weaknesses you have. And it's impressive if you watch some of Usyk's fights and how he's able to mold into all sorts of different things. One fight he can be something, and then another fight he can be something completely different. He can fight off the back foot. He can fight going forward. He can fight in the pocket. And very reminiscent of Andre Ward, he can get a little scrappy too. Once he gains control of the fight and, he starts to pick up the pace, he likes to get nasty, man. He turns into a dog. He's a trickster. He's a trickster, man, because here's the thing, and I'm going to let you guys know this. Just because Usyk comes out and maybe he's having a slow start and you're giving Anthony Joshua rounds and Usyk's getting caught with punches, because you can clip Usyk. You can catch him with some shots. But one of the things I've learned with Usyk, he's a slow starter. Okay, he's a slow starter. He's coming out of the school of Papachenko, right? Lomachenko's father and trainer. And you go and watch Vasily Lomachenko. He's the same way, kind of a slow starter. He's analyzing you. He's finding the openings, and then somewhere in the mid rounds or to later rounds, they just turn it up a notch. It's like it's drizzling outside. All of a sudden, it will start pouring. And that is what Usyk does. So don't be alarmed if Usyk is down on the scorecards initially and it seems like Anthony Joshua has the upper hand. Now, I would say be alarmed if Joshua knocks Usyk down within the first 6 rounds. That would be alarming. But if the fight's going on and, Usyk's getting clipped, I wouldn't panic, because I think that Usyk will start to take over in the later rounds. And I'm sorry, I think Usyk is a deeper, more dynamic boxer with a higher IQ. Now, don't get me wrong, Anthony Joshua is a good boxer, but this is think about it this way. He has strong fundamentals. He has strong technique. He's very fast. He's powerful. And he has phenomenal timing, right? All those things make him a great boxer. But I don't know if it goes much deeper past that. I don't see Anthony Joshua as a guy who's constantly analyzing round for round, making adjustments and adaptations throughout a fight and creating openings and setting traps. I think Anthony Joshua is the type of guy, he uses his size and he waits patiently. Now he seems to wait more patiently. I like the more aggressive Anthony Joshua from the past, where he would put a little pressure and force you to come to him so he can get you to commit and then counter. But now it seems like, he's going to be more back-footed. And I don't know if I like that. I don't know if that's the style approach you want to take with Usyk. And another thing to note is, once again, I don't know if it goes much deeper than that for Joshua. And if it's not going to go much deeper than just waiting for an opening and countering and not creating those openings and making adjustments and molding into different techniques and styles to expose your opponent, then I think he may be in a lot of trouble for this fight with Usyk. I'm being real with y'all. I think I would have taken a page out of Tyson Fury's book for the second fight with Deontay Wilder. Dude, be the bigger man. And here's another thing. I love when Joshua is the more diesel version, right? Because his jab looks a lot sharper. It looks powerful and devastating. If I'm Joshua, I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, I'm the kingpin of this fucking division. You're coming up from the cruiserweight division. Like, no, motherfucker. Like, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. I'm going to get you out within 4 to 6 rounds, and I'm on to fry some bigger fish. I got bigger fish to fry. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, fuck that. I'm not entertaining this. And that's the thing. Usyk does start slow. So why not take advantage of that and get on top of him early, put some pressure on him, and try to knock him the fuck out? Because I think the longer you make this fight and the more you want to drag it out, you're doing what Usyk wants. You're making it a slow, methodical, calculated fight. And being a heavyweight, a natural heavyweight, even if Anthony Joshua does slim down, yeah, he'll make it 12 rounds, but I guarantee you he will slow down, even if he is a more slim version. And look at this. Like, look at Anthony Joshua's jab. It's sharp, don't get me wrong. It's very quick. He's shooting it very quickly, and it's light. But I don't like it. I don't like it, man. And even though he beats Pulev in this fight, he knocks him out, I think he could have made quick work of Pulev. But I understand, this is after the Ruiz fight. He's a little bit hesitant. He was very humbled. So he's probably trying to be a lot more calculated. But I think stylistically, he's putting himself in a very bad position up against Usyk. And good parry by Anthony Joshua. Pulev tries to shoot a jab to the body, and Joshua parries it. He looks very light on his feet. But once again, I don't know if this is the version of Joshua that's going to be good against Alexander Usyk. I think that could be a mistake. And don't get me wrong, I've seen some recent training footage of Anthony Joshua. It looks like he is retaining some of his muscles, so that's good. He looks slimmer. He looks like a nice version between what he should be. Not too slim to where he looks soft in the fights with Andy Ruiz, but, still retaining some muscle for some power. But just let's take a look at this. Let's see if Anthony Joshua sets up anything throughout this fight. It's good that he's probing with his jab, but let's see if he sets anything up. Let's see if he creates openings or if he just waits for an open door and jumps all over it. Pula right now, the size is kind of bothering him, and nice Joshua comes over the top with the right hand as Pulev tries to shoot to the body, or I don't know if he was feinting. But once again, that right hand was more a result from an open door he could take advantage of. Pulev comes in, okay, I'm the bigger guy, I have good fundamentals, I'm going to come down with the right hand. It's there. It's not so much he kind of created it or set it up. Granted, it is the first round, so let's be patient. But both guys very hesitant, trying to feel each other out. Anthony Joshua, being the bigger guy, is landing his jab more. It's a little bit easier for him to do. And even though Pulev is kind of controlling the center of the ring, I think this is by choice by Anthony Joshua. Using his size to make his opponent come to him. But I think he should be using his size to impose his will. There's different ways to use your size, you guys. But I'm telling you, if he goes into this fight like this, I think it's not good. Look at Joshua, a little bit more lighter on his toes than we usually see him. Jumping up and down, shooting his jab. It looks quick, but it doesn't look as powerful as it used to. And Pulev not really doing anything. He tries to shoot a jab to the body there. Nice. He kind of shoots a jab to the body, follows up with the hook. You know, kind of just standing his ground, not moving much, you know, trying to cut off the ring. But if you're gonna put pressure, you have to do it effectively. Like, I want to see, instead of Pulev shooting that jab to the head, or maybe not even down to the body, why not shoot it to the chest, just like Andy Ruiz did? It's a nice little way, especially if you're undersized, to kind of touch up your opponent. You don't always have to land to the head or get down to the abdomen or the solar plex. You know, shoot a jab to the chest just to establish it. Get into range. You know, because if you don't establish that jab, you ain't doing shit. Good hooks by Joshua. Comes with an uppercut and finish it. Once again, I didn't really see him set that up. That was just more of him kind of jumping all over an open door. And, you know, Pulev isn't really showing he's doing anything with substance, and not really showing he's going to counter you as you come in. He's not really moving forward and cutting off the ring. He's just kind of standing in front of Joshua. Just standing right on the edge. You know, obviously, Joshua being the bigger fighter, he's going to wait and make Pulev come to him, make him commit so he can counter. But that's, you know, that's good boxing fundamentals, you guys, right? And that's good boxing fundamentals for a bigger guy to do that. But it's not really deep. It's not really deep. Once again, Usyk can set shit up. He can create openings. He's constantly downloading, analyzing, and figuring out what he needs to do. And then when he gets into those later rounds, he kicks it up a notch. He turns up the tempo. He starts letting his hands go. He's using his footwork. And the first 4 to 6 rounds, you're going to see Usyk. He's not just going to be standing in front of Joshua like this. Just, you know what I'm saying? He's not just going to be standing there, you know, not really doing anything or setting up anything. He's going to be utilizing his footwork. He's going to be using his feints, you know, moving his head around, probing with his jab, maybe shooting down to the body. You know, he's going to be looking for stuff. He's going to be probing and analyzing, setting up stuff for the later rounds. Pulev is not doing anything. There's no substance to what he's doing. He's just kind of standing in front of Joshua. And yeah, he's trying to put pressure, but what's it mean if you're not really doing anything? If you're just standing there and, you know, just trying to duck out of the way of punches. Now, you notice what Andy Ruiz did. It's unfortunate because Pulev should have really emulated the game plan of Andy Ruiz. I mean, he's not Andy Ruiz, but, you know, sometimes you got to be something. You got to, if you're a good fighter, you have to be able to mold into different styles. You know, Andy Ruiz was pumping his jab to the chest, pumping it down to the body. He was cutting off the ring relentlessly, you know, throwing counter punches every time Joshua would commit and get within that mid to close range. But, you know, Ruiz is a damn good fighter, and he's got that Mexican blood in him, so he's a little bit more scrappy and willing to take risk. And, both fighters not really giving me anything to analyze here. Joshua's just waiting for an open door. And Pulev, he's just looking to land one lucky punch. And that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you see Joshua kind of go shift in terms of his mentality. I understand he was trying to get his back off the ropes, but I felt he was a little giddy there. He kind of jumped out of the way. He looked a little frazzled and a little scared to be in that position when he didn't need to be. What is this guy doing to present any issues to you? And I wish Joshua, if you're going to sit here and box off the back foot and wait to counter, I wish he would pump his jab a little bit more. Work that jab. What about a lead hook? If you're going to box off the back foot like this, what about a lead hook? And right there, nice kind of pull counter. That was a nice little pull counter by Anthony Joshua. But once again, that really wasn't created. He just kind of waited for that opportunity, and the opportunity came. And good hooks on the inside, good uppercuts. But, I mean, Anthony Joshua, we always known he likes to finish. But, I mean, once again, these aren't combinations and punches coming from, something he created. He was just waiting for the opportunity. And that was crazy about Pulev turning his back like that. Just take a knee. Don't get me wrong, I like that Anthony Joshua was trying to finish. I actually believe he kind of should have taken this approach early on. This guy had no business being in the ring this long. I think if Anthony Joshua goes out and he's the fucking destroyer that he was in some of his past fights. He's putting pressure on you. He's in your fucking face. I think he finishes this fight a lot quicker. But once again, we have to understand he just came out of that Ruiz fight, and, he took risk in that first fight and he got caught, and he was in a bad position. So he's being a lot more calculated. But, I'm starting to favor the consistency. I like the consistency of Usyk mentally, and I like that he's a fucking winner. Obviously, Joshua is a winner as well, but Usyk is an undefeated professional. And you're crazy to think that Usyk hasn't been planning this move to heavyweight. You're crazy if you think that Usyk hasn't had Anthony Joshua on his radar. You're crazy if you don't think he wants to crusade through the heavyweight division and become one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of this era. And, that's my problem with Joshua. Sometimes he just, even throughout this fight, he seems bipolar, It seems like there's times where he turns into that destroyer, and then it turns into times to where he, goes back into being, it's almost like he's second-guessing himself. And I'll say this, even though, yes, he's knocking down Pulev, he's landing some devastating punches. With this new kind of slimmed down version, sometimes it looks like he's kind of pushing his punches, like that jab. It looked like he was pushing that jab. And I'd still like to see Joshua land more jabs, be more active with it. And I'd like to see him throw more lead left hooks. And, Joshua clinches there. Pulev's putting a lot of pressure at that point. And Joshua's back to the ropes, so he stifles Pulev's attack and clinches him. Good move. But, I think he should be the aggressor in this fight. He won the fight nonetheless, and, but I don't think it needed to be this long. And it's the same thing with Usyk, man. I think he should be the destroyer. Get him out early, because the longer you keep Usyk in there, the more he's going to start picking up the tempo, figuring you out, and he's going to have a wide variety of ways to attack you. The guy throws hooks, jabs, beautiful crosses, beautiful body work. He goes backward, forward, fights in the pocket, even likes to scrap a little bit. And I might even go as far to say that I think Usyk may be able to get a TKO in the later rounds. I would not be shocked. And once again, Pulev did absolutely nothing for this fight. I don't even know if he landed one punch other than a few jabs to the body. Like, what is Pulev doing? He's not doing anything. There's no substance. He's not setting up anything. He's not even taking advantage of opportunities to counter. He's not doing anything. And for Joshua, I kind of feel the same way. Like, he's just a basic boxer. And this is one of the reasons I've said, like, he doesn't grab my attention, because he's kind of straight up and down. Yeah, he's a good boxer because he has good fundamentals. He has good technique. He has phenomenal timing, but that's about it. And he uses his size to kind of suck his opponents into committing, and then he counters. And that speed and power and talent of his kind of shows. And then he starts to take over when he sees that he has you hurt, and he lets his hands go. To me, that's not very... it's not very impressive or dynamic when we're talking about in the sense of comparing him to, like, absolute greats. It's like, it's almost like this is what Deontay Wilder would look like if he was fundamentally sound. That's how I feel. It's almost like Anthony Joshua is an upgraded version of Deontay Wilder. If Deontay Wilder was fundamentally sound and was good technically, I think this is what he would look like. Something like this. Actually better, because I believe Wilder just has that. Even though Joshua can knock you the fuck out, Wilder has that one hitter quitter. All he needs to do is just fucking touch you and you go to sleep, unless you're, freaking Tyson Fury, who's a fucking wizard. But, it's not very deep what he's doing. And I'm sorry to say that. I know there's a lot of Anthony Joshua fans out there, but it's not really deep what he's doing. And if he does win this fight against Usyk, I think it's just because he's big, fast, and strong, and the size was just overwhelming. But I'm starting to think that might not be a factor, man. Because, look, I kind of throw that out the window when you have a winner, somebody who's consistent, somebody who has a strong mental state, and then they bring with them that great boxing ability. I start to throw that out. I mean, it didn't stop Evander Holyfield for coming up from the cruiserweight division and being one of the most legendary heavyweights of all time. It didn't stop Manny Pacquiao for being a multiple division champ. And one thing we're going to have to ask, do you see Anthony Joshua launching a consistent body attack against this guy? He did start off throwing some jabs to the body. I think he'll throw his biggest weapon in this fight with Usyk will be his cross to the body, right? I think that's going to be his biggest asset. You're going to have to slow Usyk down somehow if you don't knock him down, because he will turn up for the later rounds. But it's not like Anthony Joshua is going to rip you with hooks to the body throughout the fight. And I think Usyk has that ability to do that. Good parry by Anthony Joshua. Pulev tries to jab down to the body. And this fucking asshole waving his hands standing up in front of everybody. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a disappointing fight to kind of analyze. To me, there's not much here, and Pulev sure as hell isn't doing a damn thing. And Anthony Joshua was just waiting to capitalize until where he gets Pulev where he wants him, and then he'll finish strong. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Anthony Joshua just doesn't grab my attention with his boxing skills. I mean, fundamentally sound, but to me it doesn't run much deeper than that. I say the same things. Well, Wilder's exciting because he's just, it's in his last name, Wild. He's just a wild motherfucker. And you watch him fight, it kind of gets reckless. But it makes him exciting. A nice little controlling Pulev's head with the lead hand and turning himself out of the corner. That was a nice little move. But, you know, when I watch Tyson Fury, it's fun, man, because he's so dynamic. He can do so many different things in terms of his head movement, his boxing ability, whether it's, he showed it in the second fight with Tyson Fury where he put relentless pressure, or, if it's against, fucking Klitschko, he's boxing off the back foot, picking his shots. Even though that fight wasn't necessarily the most fun fight to watch, but still, seeing a big man his size do that shit was phenomenal. And tell me, you guys, like, what did you see Anthony Joshua really, really set up? What did he create? What did he create? What openings did he create? And I don't see it. And yeah, he did that little pull counter with the right hand. That was nice, but it was there. It was just there, you guys. This guy's literally just standing in front of him, waiting to get countered. When you see Mayweather do that pull counter, he's setting it up, right? He's putting the bait out there from round one. So usually when you see Mayweather, set up that pull counter, and this is what I'm talking about. It's not just about waiting for opportunities. It's about creating them or giving certain looks to get there. Like Mayweather will stick his chin out, kind of put his chin ahead of his lead foot. It's just bait. He got his head out there. He's seeing if there's anything available, setting up a lot of different shit off that. His lead left hook, but, stick his chin out there. Then he'll pull back when he sees the bait, when he sees his opponent shoot his jab, and he'll come over the top with the right hand and roll under it. Giving different looks, setting it up. You only saw him shoot that pull counter once. Mayweather will shoot that pull counter numerous times because he's setting up his game. He's giving different looks. Pulev is not doing anything. You're going to see Usyk constantly moving these first few rounds, probing, maybe even pulling a little bit of a rope-a-dope if Anthony Joshua gets aggressive to wear him down for the later rounds. And, he's going to throw these little pitter-patter punches and combos, and then later on he's going to start sitting on those punches and turning those punches over and hurting you. Usyk is a trickster. Once again, in a sense, that's kind of creating stuff for later in the fight. And it changes the tempo, it changes the rhythm, and he throws you off guard with that. And, in those later rounds, Usyk, what he'll do, he'll start to settle down, man. He'll start to sit on those punches, and what you thought those pitter-patter punches were in the beginning, you're like, this ain't shit. All of a sudden, he's sitting on his punches, and he's letting his hands go, and he's just sticking you. Catching you off guard. Good jabs to the body by Joshua. And I'll give Joshua this. I think this is the beginning of the end for Pulev. Those jabs to the body help set up those combinations to the head. But why did it need to take this long for him to figure that out? Why did it need to take this long for him? And look, he's throwing his jab. It's good when he throws his jab. If you're going to box off the back foot like this, keep on throwing your jab out there. That's how you set shit up. That's how you create these openings. Because when you constantly stick that jab in your opponent's face and you're landing at will like he's doing and he can, it forces your opponent to do something. It forces his hand. Either he's going to sit back and get stuck with that jab all night, right? And he's not going to respond, and then you can just let your hands go. Or he gets aggressive and he starts committing to shots because he wants to come back and get back at you. And then you can set up punches, like a little check hook or a right uppercut as he's stepping in. One thing Anthony Joshua does have beautiful fundamentals And he has beautiful technique. He does tend to throw some very tight hooks and good uppercuts on the inside. Why didn't Anthony Joshua work a little bit on the inside? Why didn't he square up and use that size advantage and let his hands go? You know, you just kind of saw him sitting back, pulling back a little bit and waiting for counters. Create some openings, man. And yeah, it shouldn't have taken this long. It just shouldn't have taken this long for him to get this guy out of here. I mean, yeah, he won. He got the KO, but come on, man. You know, Usyk's not going to be this. He's not going to be this. It's like when he commits, when he's confident, he's a destroyer. But there's other points in the fight to where it's just like he's waiting and he's hesitant and he's second-guessing himself. Good jabs to the body. Maybe he's setting up something. And, you know, Pulev's getting a little bit bold. He's trying to let his hands go. But every time he gets on the inside with Anthony Joshua, he's not really doing it. He's just getting in a clinch and maybe hip checking. Good jabs to the body. Keep on throwing them. I like that. That's going to slow Pulev down, pull his guard down. But but you guys, that's not that sophisticated. You know, that's not that deep. Okay, you're shooting jabs down to the body. Why is it taking this long? And it's because Anthony Joshua finally figured out, like, he just has a punching bag in front of him that's not really presenting any issues. Anthony Joshua clinches back to the ropes. He didn't really need to do that. And, you know, I wish that as he would shoot that jab, he would kind of pivot out as he's doing it. You know, turn his opponent. You know, almost take a little page out of Muhammad Ali's book. Stick him with the jab as you're working outside, you know, and turning your opponent. And then that's when you can let your hands go. And he's finally realizing, like, oh, this guy ain't doing shit. I still don't know why Anthony Joshua is fighting off the back foot. He doesn't need to. He tries to do a little pull counter right there with his right hand. Doesn't quite land, though. Like, this is where Anthony needs to be a fucking destroyer. This is where he needs to be like he was in the Martin fight. 8 rounds? Come on. You let this motherfucker go 8 rounds with you? This is where you need to step on the gas pedal and fucking get this guy out. He's starting to let his hands go a little bit. And tell me, what has Pulev done, man? This is a terrible fight to analyze, and I apologize to you guys. You know, both fighters aren't really giving me much to work with here. But this is deep. This is deep in the sense that this might be the Anthony Joshua we see against Usyk. And if it is, I don't like it. You know, obviously he's going to be prepared for the fight. He's going to be sharper, you know, and I'm sure his skills are going to be better. But if this is a rough draft of what we're going to get in the upcoming fight, I'm going to put my money on Usyk. And Joshua, you know, sometimes it's like he misses that jab, and it's just like he doesn't have a great understanding of distance. Tries to do another pull counter, not quite there. But once again, he's not setting it up. He's just looking for it. You got to set it up. The only thing he was really doing, Pulev was walking in recklessly, and he was trying to come over the top with the right hand. And right there, I like this. You know, get on the inside, work some of that. You have beautiful uppercuts. You have beautiful tight hooks on the inside. Dude, get in there. This guy ain't going to bother you. He ain't going to bother you. He don't want to fight. All right, he's intimidated. Get on the inside and just fucking pummel him, bro. You're the bigger man. Pummel this motherfucker. He hasn't, this is not like the Ruiz fight where every time Joshua would engage with Ruiz was sitting on his punches, throwing like 5, even sometimes 7 punch combos. This dude ain't throwing nothing. Finally, Joshua figures it out, throws those beautiful uppercuts, nice little dirty boxing, grabs the back of the head of Pulev and lands or runs it into his uppercut. Yeah, but man, once again, I mean, this to me wasn't a fucking phenomenal performance. It wasn't spectacular. It shouldn't have taken this long, and this guy was a fish, man. I mean, he literally just stood there all night right in front of you and was just taking punches. Yeah, not impressive, you guys. Not impressive. Obviously, we're going to get a better version of Anthony Joshua since this fight. Fighters do improve. But, yeah, I'm starting to lean towards Usyk. Especially if Joshua wants to make it a slow, methodical fight, because I don't think it will favor him. If Joshua does not stun and at least knock down Usyk within the first 6 rounds, I think you're going to see Usyk take over and outbox Anthony Joshua. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Usyk can get some good body work in, and being the undersized guy, he should have a lot of fucking body to work with, a lot of frame of Anthony Joshua to kind of let his hands go on the inside and rip to the body. We could see even a TKO. I am not going to say that's out of the realm of possibility. But we'll see, man. More film study, more things to watch, more updates with the fight coming up. It's your boy HB. Final round. Comment, subscribe, like the video. I apologize. These both didn't really give us a lot of gems to see and learn. But, tell me who you think's going to win. Tell me, what version of Anthony Joshua is going to appear for the fight. Do you think it's smart for him to go 12 rounds? If it does go 12 rounds, who do you think it favors? Yeah, let me know, guys. I'm very curious to know what you guys think about who's going to win this fight and who would have the advantage pending the circumstances. Stay safe this weekend. This is your boy HB. Final round. Get at me.